inches on the nose will be their target.
Confirmation of that win then for Gudaf Segai in the women's 5,000 metres first heat of 2. Sarim, her teammate, goes through as well. The first 5 all qualify automatically. Chebet, Kipkemboy, the Kenyan pairing, and Schweitzer of the USA ensures American representation in the final. The rest of them will have to see whether or not they can go through. We do know these athletes, Rahel Daniel off that fabulous 5th place in the 10,000, running on tired legs. We do know these athletes will not go through, losing Marcotes of Great Britain. Well, we do have a guest in the commentary box now as we wait for the athletes in the second 5,000 metre heat to come in, and Hannah and I delighted to welcome up here high above the finish line, rather privileged commentary position, but one athlete who gave us a wonderful display of high jumping last night, Ellie Patterson of Australia. Ellie, congratulations on that gold. How much sleep did you get last night?
Thank you so much for having me. Now, I only got like 3 hours of sleep. I was just too alive with energy and adrenaline last night that I just could not switch off. And so I'm just running on, excitement and fuel to even just to watch the athletics today, and just the excitement from yesterday, of course, as well.
Roughly how many people back home you had to speak to? Radio stations, TV stations, family, friends, some bloke from the outback? I bet everybody's been trying to contact you.
Yeah, definitely. My phone has been blowing up, and so there's periods where I'll go on it, and then other times I'm just like, okay, I need to throw this in my room and just go for a walk or something like this, because it's phenomenal, the support from back home, but I wouldn't have it any other way, that's for sure.
You bet.
Well, it's a really exciting summer for athletes from Australia. You've got 2 championships here. You've done fantastically to turn the tables on Yaroslav Mahuchik from your indoor season. But how much are you keeping half an eye on the Commonwealth Games? That's just a few weeks away. Will that be something you're aiming for now?
Yeah, certainly. I actually leave to go to the UK tomorrow, and so as much as I'm lapping up this experience, in 2 weeks' time approximately, I'll be going again for Commonwealth Games, and so it's got such a rich history for us Australians, and it's so special to us, and so I'm just really excited to get amongst it, and I can't help but walk away from yesterday with such confidence. So let's see what will happen. I'm just high on life.
So when you woke up this morning, I know you've got 3 hours sleep, but after your 3 hours sleep, when you opened your eyes, how long did it take you to remember that you're world champion?
It's still taking a long time to sink in. So I think, many people have said it to me. I've had many interviews and things like this, and, people are reiterating it to me, but I'm still feeling like I'm giggling like a little girl at the excitement about this. I knew I had it within me, and I know I've had this kind of calibre of a performance in me for such a long time, but to bring it to fruition, it's phenomenal, and I'm just so proud of myself, that's for sure.
But your career has been a real roller coaster. You actually checked it in for a while. You stopped jumping for a while, I understand, for a couple of years?
I did, yeah. Back in 2018, I stepped away from the sport for over a year. I didn't step foot on a track for over a year. I didn't step foot in a gym. I was sat on the couch doing nothing and just trying to find who I was. I wasn't happy, and I needed to change things, and so I moved my life to Sydney, change of coach, and best decision of my life, because I'm right here, and feeling on top of the world.
Well, you're talking to an awful lot of the world right now. It is a fairy tale story. I thought Mahuchik was almost a nailed-on gold medalist. She's had so much trouble getting here to these championships. You look at the challenges she'd had back home. A lot of people's hearts will have been wanting Mahuchik to win, but it was a great competition. It will go down as one of the great competitions. The top 4 of you going over 2 meters, that doesn't happen too often.
Yeah, it was phenomenal to sit back and be amongst it, and to see all the girls just absolutely phenomenally jumping. It was really, really impressive, and so it was insane. But to be against such a high caliber of athletes, it was very special, that's for sure. And to see that 2 of those 4 over 2 meters were Ukrainians, and the hardships they've had to go through, no one deserves to go through. And so I have the utmost respect for all my competitors, but obviously especially the Ukrainians. They're such tough women, and hats off to them in every regard, that's for sure.
As you look forward towards the Commonwealth Games, we saw Nicola Olaslagas from Australia perform so well in Tokyo. Brilliant 5th place here yesterday. But as you 2 look towards the Commonwealth Games, what will you hope to do for your nation?
Yeah, it'd be really exciting. It's always phenomenal to have 2 Australians in the final, and to see her come through with it too and come away with the 5th is so impressive. And it's really exciting going towards the Commonwealth Games, and hopefully, fingers crossed, 1 and 2. But who knows what will happen? But I'm just really excited to just just have fun, let go, and just have a bit of fun. I mean, I love this sport. I can't help but love it, and so yeah, just really looking forward to representing my country.
Ellie, those Commonwealth Games are a couple of weeks away. I don't think too many people would bet against a 1-2 in Birmingham. It's been great chatting to you. Thanks so much, and yet again, congratulations. Fabulous job last night.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Alrighty, have a great day.
You too.
So back to the track where you can see there over on the far side of the 200 metre start, the athletes for the second heat of the women's 5,000 metres getting ready.
Some pretty hot, hard conditions out there. Carissa Schweitzer of the USA got the job done in the first heat. Could her teammate Elise Cranny do the same? These two train together. I think you can see your training partner perform well. It might give you the confidence you could do the same. Elise Cranny is the USA champion. Super quick over 10,000 and 5,000. Jessica Judd, great personal best to come 11th in the 10,000 metres. Gracelyn Larkin, national champion for Canada. Gracelyn Davis, I'm sure she's been inspired by Eleanor Patterson in that performance last night. Let's go Venezuela, represented down here. And this woman, Letesembet Gide, looked phenomenal winning the 10,000 metre championships with a kick that we hadn't really seen from the world record holder before. We knew she was good in those time trial type races, but Gide looked every bit the championship performer in that 10,000. But she's got to navigate these heats. Tanaka, semi-finals in the 1500. Ailish McColgan of Great Britain was 10th in the 10,000 metres. Took a silver medal in this distance in Berlin at the European Championships a few years ago. Behind this woman, Sifan Hassan is the reigning champion. She couldn't defend her 10,000 metre title. She was just 4th in that race, working her way back from the Olympic hangover and a few injury disruptions as well. Israel to national record in Tokyo. There's Germany down there as well. Quito is 4th in the Rabat Diamond League, so keep your eye out for her. Alina Ray, another European medalist behind Ailish McColgan. And Sifan Hassan in Berlin. Carolina Grovdale, 2-time European bronze medalist. One of those over steeplechase. She ran a national record recently in Oslo, 14:31. Kip Curry was 10th in the 10,000 metres earlier on in the championship with a new national record for Kazakhstan. These heats are seriously loaded. 18 women in the first heat, 19 in the second. Should have been excused for giving them 3 rounds, 3 heats, maybe 3 rounds, but it is just 2. Non-automatic qualifying mark at the moment is at 15 minutes, so that's 3-minute kilometres. There's lots of women capable of this. We saw Carissa Schweitzer do a big move in the last mile, and her teammate, Elise Cranny, taking up the early running at the minute. She's got a 4:02 1500 metre personal best noted down for Elise Cranny, so she doesn't have to make this fast. She will leave it to some of these other women to make it an honest race.
Well, 11 athletes in this race have broken 15 minutes. Not saying necessarily they'll all run to their personal best potential, but certainly they can go out there, plenty of them, and feel that if this is pushed along at around 3 minutes per kilometre, then they will go through as the fastest loser, and they can finish 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, even 10th, and go through if they break 15 minutes, or get in just inside 15:01. Ailish McColgan, such a gutsy runner over this last couple of years, with injuries now. Not a distant memory, but certainly she's overcome them again and again and had a good run of steady training leading through to this 2022 summer. She's raced really well on the road. She's raced a British record at the half marathon back in February. She's raced over 10k successfully on the roads. Wonderful form over 5,000 and 10,000 metres. Look at that 10,000 in Holland a couple of months back, where she beat the best of the Africans, although she was running flat out. They were running in a championship race. But Ailish McColgan will want to push this along, and I think set it up, don't you, Hannah, to try and get a solid time confirmed, and then maybe ease off in the last couple of K.
I'm not surprised at all to see Eilish McColgan in the front. She picked up that silver medal at the European Championships. She just put her foot down and ran away from the field, nearly got away with it as well, nearly stole the gold medal. Eilish McColgan, she does a lot of training on her own, so she's used to front running, but also she's spoken in the past. She's quite tall, she's got a very long stride, and for her, being sat in the group is often very uncomfortable. So Eilish, she has the strength, she does have a kick. Yeah, she's just waving. She's just giving them away, saying, get off my heels. And that's why I think we do see Eilish McColgan at the front of the race sometimes. So 72-second lapping, 2:24 would be a 3-minute kilometre.
She has got, you're right, extraordinarily long legs and a nightmare to run behind. Somebody with that sort of long kickback behind her, as you can see. Kip Kadui, I think it was Hannah, who just clipped her. And you have to step back another foot or 18 inches, maybe about 30 centimetres further back than you would normally have to behind any other athlete, simply because of the length of Eilish's legs. It's not her fault, it's just the way she runs, but other athletes have to be wary.
Kip Karuri probably, she'll be used to running behind people when she's training, running behind teammates, and you almost need to recalibrate the distance that you give an athlete. Hopefully it would only take her a couple of times of maybe clipping Great Britain and Northern Ireland's Eilish McColgan before the Kazakhstani athlete realises, I'm a tiny bit too close here. Nobody wants anyone to trip or fall. Eilish McColgan still out there in the lead. Kip Karuri and Carolina Grovdale slowly stringing this field out.
Split at 1K, 2:59.38, absolutely perfect, just inside 3 minutes for the first kilometre, therefore obviously just inside 15 minutes for the full distance, which is perfect. And there's 10, 12, 14 athletes there benefiting from this pacemaking duty being carried out in effect by Eilish McColgan out in front, along with a little peaked golf cap almost she's wearing. They're being dragged around here at an ideal tempo.
No, they are. I think that was a 72nd lap of Eilish McColgan for the fourth lap or so, and that's faster. So I don't know if she's seen that 2:59 and gone, I want it a tiny bit faster. She won't want these athletes to sprint finish. Carolina Grovdale might have expected to have to do this job of setting the pace, as might Nozomi Tanaka, so used to seeing her pace make 1500 metre heats. Big names, Gide and Hassan, very happy, and Ray. Expect Alina Ray to feature as we move through this race. At the moment, they're happy just to sit at the back.
Well, Sifan Hassan is back in about 12th place at the moment, just moving up. There she is, extreme left of picture in those blue shorts and the orange vest of the Netherlands. Biding her time, still in contact. I think she saw a little gap just developing there in front of the American Cranny, and she didn't want that to grow, so she just sensibly zipped around Cranny and slotted into the back of this long single file line.
I expect Elise Cranny to have any issues with this pace at the moment, perhaps just content to sit a little bit further back, the USA champion. And I do like to look to see Eilish McColgan again saying, stop clipping my heels. Such a big kickback there, Eilish McColgan's stride, giving the other athletes a bit of trouble, but it's pretty bad etiquette if someone's pushing the front of your race, giving you a shot at a non-automatic qualifying mark. To clip at their heels is slightly unfair. You should just swing wide, pull alongside and run next to them if you're not confident of being able to run behind them without clipping them. That's my opinion on the etiquette.
No, I agree entirely. Grovdal, by the way, in third place. Really impressed with her running this year, the Norwegian. She's fifth fastest in the world this year. 14:31 she ran at the Bislett Games in Oslo just a few weeks ago. Fabulous run in front of a packed house in the Norwegian capital. And she looks comfortable here. Not exactly Norwegian type weather this, is it? Although they have had some really lovely weather through the last few weeks. But I don't think anything up in the 30s and quite as humid. Is it me, or was it a bit closer today than usual as well? A little bit more humid than it has been.
And the shade's starting to creep in on the home straight. We didn't have that in the first heat, so that will be a welcome break for the women. But you can see when they're on the back straight that the officials have got a water station out, and that's pretty unusual in championship 5,000 metre running. You wouldn't normally bother with a water station, but the officials quite rightly recognising that it's hot and sticky down there. And as with that first heat, that cumulative effect of overheating and fatigue will start to show itself.
Jessica Judd of Great Britain, who had a wonderful run in the 10,000 metres last Saturday, moving along there in about 8th place. Also there is the world 10,000 metre champion, newly crowned Letesembet Gide, in the middle of that lead group of about 12. The Ethiopian has one gold in the bag and will want to get through this one as economically as possible. People who can really think on their feet, Hannah, will know that they're moving at under 15-minute tempo here and won't feel the need to get in the first 5. I mean, frankly, as long as you know that you run under 15 minutes, you're in the top 10, you're safe here.
As long as you don't let it slow down, Tim, which I don't think it will with Eilish McColgan in the front, but they do need to pay attention if they feel that they're slipping maybe to more towards the 3:04, 3:05 per kilometre, and they need to get it moving. But like I say, I wouldn't expect that to happen. Nozomi Tanaka of Japan moving herself up to 5th place. She's having a bit of a tussle with Elise Cranny. Elise Cranny seems very keen to hold that inside, as does Nozomi Tanaka, but she's not quite got the pace, the speed and the space to get ahead of the USA champions. So those two, kind of that pushing and shoving is exactly what Great Britain and Northern Ireland, Eilish McColgan, has said she really dislikes in these championship races, and perhaps that's why she's put herself up at the front. Jessica Judd doing a good job of sticking there in the top 8. We could see, as Tim said, all 10 in this race advance to non-automatic qualifiers. Elise Cranny again darts to the inside, giving Tanaka a bit of problems there.
Well, they got to 2K in 5:57.67, so that second kilometre a little bit quicker from McColgan, and she's doing an absolutely perfect job here, metronomic running at just the right tempo. She and her mum, Liz McColgan, who was, of course, world champion back in 1991 in Tokyo in sweltering weather in the Olympic Stadium in the Japanese capital. I was in the stadium that night. It was so hot and it was really oppressive. So she's got those genes, perhaps the ability to deal with warm weather, but she and her mum and her partner Mike Rimmer, British international 800 metre runner of years gone by, are quite some team at the moment. They really are, and they're doing a great job through the legs of Eilish McColgan at the moment to keep this pace going. And 3,000 there, Hannah, 8:58. It is so perfect. If you're looking to get just under 15 minutes, you couldn't have scripted it better.
This is pretty much identical pacing to what we saw Eilish McColgan do in Hengelo, and she ran out to 30 minutes. Now she ran 72s with yonks all the way out there on her own. She had the light wave technology, and that aspect helping her, but was miles ahead of the likes of Gide as they battled for the Ethiopian honours further down the field. So 73, that's a tiny bit slower from Eilish McColgan. She's just working hard at the front of the field here. And we talk about athletes kind of getting the monkey off the back, if you like. Trayvon Bromell, for me, was one in the 100 metres, finally converting his form to a medal. But Grovdale, for me, her picking up the European cross-country title back in Dublin in December was a similar moment. She'd been in and around the medals every year from a junior, from an under-23, and she finally took the senior European cross-country title in Dublin. If you haven't seen that race and you're into your cross-country and endurance racing, I can certainly recommend watching that, because it's a tactical masterpiece in terms of cross-country running. But Grovdale's converted that so well into some great times in this track season.
Well, there's 9 in this lead group, Hannah, and by my reckoning, they're moving at just under 15-minute tempo, so they should all go through quite comfortably. The athlete who will be chewing her nails from the first heat, I think, was Emily Infeld, who was 15 minutes and 0.98 of a second. So as long as the 10th placer in this one doesn't beat that time, and I don't think it's on the cards at the moment, because there's about a 30-metre gap behind this 9, then Infeld should go through okay.
Another 73-second lap. It's fast enough. Like we say, they've got a buffer all the way down to Constanze Klosterhalfen of Germany, 15:17. These 9 needs going to be close if they do end up outside 15 minutes, but you'd expect the last kilometre to lift a tiny bit as they start racing. They won't absolutely gamble. Throughout these earlier stages of the race, they can recognise that no one else needs to go to the front. They don't need to try and challenge Eilish McColgan for the lead. They can let her do the work. But I think as we move into the final 2 laps or so, they'll lift ever so slightly, because why not walk away with that big queue rather than that little queue to keep you company for the next couple of days.
Because there's no difference in this circumstance between a big queue and a little queue. You know, if you could just jog down the home straight knowing exactly what's going on, knowing that they will have been told, there's no doubt about it. It is a big advantage to be in a latter qualifying heat, and it's one reason why I've never been a fan of non-automatic qualifying spots. I think if the seeding is done well, the authorities should try as hard as possible to say everybody makes it through to the final is an automatic qualifier. You know, we're looking at 15 going through to the final from these 2 heats. Why not just say first 8 from each heat? We'll have 16 of you, 1 athlete to make it. First 8 go through. There you go. You know exactly the circumstances, and it's dead fair for the first heat and the second heat.
Because that relies on you getting the seeding absolutely right, and every middle distance runner wakes up and thinks they've got the worst heat. Maybe not in the 5,000 metres, it's a tiny bit easier to spread the athletes out, but you choose to look at it and go, I've been hard done by. But I do think you have got a point, Tim, the latter heats. There was a movement at one point, I don't know if it was 2017 or so, of trying to not allow the later endurance heats to see the results.
Well, that's daft, because they're going to get shouted at times from the sidelines. By the way, they went through 4K in 12:01, so they slipped a little bit. Outside 15-minute pace in that 4th kilometre. They've got just over a lap and a half to run now, and they need to crank it up a little notch if they're all to go through okay. And they're bunching down the back straight. And I don't know whether they're aware or not of what happened in the first heat, because they just need to keep striding out strongly this last lap and a half, and they'll be okay.
Saw a small queue on your screen. It was representing Sarah Lahti of Sweden, her 10th best mark in the first heat. And that was miles behind these women. I do think that's a bit deceptive. They're going to have to keep their foot down, as Tim said. And that makes perfect sense for me as well. The likes of Jessica Judd moving to the front. She's another athlete that likes to lay it all out there. Jessica Judd ran great in the 10,000 metres, came 11th with a personal best, and she would love the chance to compete in the final in this event on Saturday. So it's Jessica Judd squeezing the pace at the front. They come through the balance. She's got a lot of women for company. She's got the world record holder and the defending champion, and Gide and Safan Hassan just still relaxing to me at the back of this group. I'd expect a big last 300 metre hits here. Eilish McColgan led for so long in this race, and she's just starting to falter ever so slightly.
Well, McColgan battling away behind this group. They're sprinting like blazes, but it's unnecessary, I'm sure, because they will go under 15 minutes. Grovdal at the front. Something going right for Norway at last. Didn't get the goals they expected yesterday through Ingebrigtsen and Warholm. But Grovdal making a great statement here of her intent to be in the final of the women's 5,000 metres. Gide, the 10,000 metres champion, on her shoulder there. And they will come home a long way inside 15 minutes, Hannah.
Will Grovdal really showing the move that she's made up this year. 14:31. She's going to qualify comfortably, but Tosabet Gide just stretching her legs in the final stages. As did Gudaf Tsege, her teammate in the first heat. Eilish McColgan will be under 15 minutes and get a non-automatic qualifying mark, which is a good reward for all of her hard work.
Well, I think the Japanese, though, I just saw her come across the line in 8th place, was it? Or rather, Tanaka in 9th place, inside 15 minutes, so she's okay. Unofficially, Tanaka has made the final. Alina Rey might have missed out, I'm afraid, for Germany. We'll confirm these times, so I don't want to make too many guesses, but 21 seconds down on the winner there is the Rey, and the winning time, 14:52. So, yeah, she's... I'm afraid I don't think going to make it. But there you can see with those captions, it would help so much when we can see the times. But we will bring them to you as quickly as we can. It's all got to be checked anyway by the officials. There may be appeals. You never know what's going on behind the scenes. Hassan, of course, was the champion over 1,500, 10,000 in Doha. Obiri, the champion from 3 years ago, focusing on the roads now. What a good run this was from Grovdal with that right knee taped. Gide sprinting there, not bothered about whether it's energy that's being used unnecessarily. And the Kazakhstan athlete it is, sprinting away. Karolin Chetkovic, Kipkirui, the former Kenyan, in second place. Hassan third, Grovdal fourth. And the American it was indeed who came through for fifth place, Elise Crane. Those are the automatic qualifiers. And Kite in sixth place will definitely go through, 14.53 for her. McColgan and Judd both go through okay, 14.56 and 57. And Tanaka in ninth, 15 minutes, 0.21 will go through. And it is the first 9.
Like we said in some of those other races, you've got to give a big thank you to Great Britain and Northern Ireland's Ailish McColgan for getting that pace going. Jessica Judd gave it a brave go in the last couple of laps, and it was these 6 athletes well clear in the end. We know Gide's in good shape. We know that from the 10,000 metres. Safan Hassan nearly pulled off a defence of her title. She was in the shot with 50 metres to go and couldn't quite get among the medals in the end. Safan Hassan, do you think she looked any better there, Tim, or does that not really show us anything?
I don't think it showed us too much, no. She's always been a very, very smart racer, keeps her cards close to her chest. She will be more determined, I think, to put up a good show in the 5,000 of the failure of the 10,000, not retaining her title. And she is such a quick 1,500 metre runner. Let's remember that astonishing double in Doha, 1,500 and 10,000. Unique double. Nobody's ever come close to that sort of double. I mean, it's just unbelievable.
Confirmed result of the second heat. 10,000 metre champion Letessenbeck Gide taking the win ahead of Kipkirui, Hassan, Grovdal and Cranney in the automatic spots. But a whole host of sub 15-minute times there with Gloria Kito, Ailish McColgan, Jessica Judd and Nozomi Tanaka. I think the 1,500 metre specialist might have done enough there. It's down to the 10th. These final few qualification spots.
Yes, no really big surprises there. Mr. Chibet of Uganda has never broken 15 minutes. But first 9 going through by right. And then there was a big gap back to Alina Reh of Germany, 15-13. So it was a lovely division, in effect, between the qualifiers and those who didn't qualify. But we can confirm that for you now.
All smiles for the athletes at the front of that race. Good to see Gide and Hassan sharing a handshake. Will go to battle again on Saturday. Those are our full qualifiers, the 15 women that will advance to Saturday's final. Gloria Kito of Kenya, the fastest non-automatic qualifier.
Yeah, the Americans going through okay. Elise Cranney making it through from that second heat, which, surprise, was significantly faster than the first. Both the Brits, McColgan and Judd, going through. Mark Oates, unfortunately, not making it through from the first heat. Emily Infels and Carissa Schweitzer through as well. And you want home athletes to make it through to these finals, don't you?